Okay, I think we are now live. G'day everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Not really expecting anybody to be joining in, but I'm just getting back up to speed with StreamYard. I thought I'd go live and give this a run through again. So we're live, should be live on LinkedIn, YouTube and Twitter. And in this episode, what we're going to take a look at is Microsoft Lists. Okay, so Microsoft Lists now generally available, should be hitting your tenants as of now. So let's take a look and have a walk through what Lists is all about, how it integrates with Microsoft Teams, and the new features and functionality that it brings to the table. So let me just switch views here and we'll bring up the 365 start page and you'll see this new icon here, lists. So we'll dive in here and when we click on that, we're taken to what we call the lists homepage. All right, so we were presented with all our recent lists. You can see here I'm logged in as Megan. I've got a couple of lists that I've already been interacting with. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at what options we've got when we create a new list. So you can see here, nice new button here, new list, and we've got a number of different options that we can choose from. All right, so there's a couple of pre-baked templates that we've got available to us. So we're going to use one of those in a second. We can create a blank list. We can import from or start a list from Excel, or we can start from an existing list. And you'll notice when we start from an existing list, it gives us a listing of all the SharePoint sites or group sites that we've got available to us. And if we've got any pre-existing lists in those sites, we can start a new list from those sites. I'll just jump into IT. You can see that there's a list there and we can go through and create a list based off that pre-existing list. But let's just jump in and we'll create a list from a pre-existing template that Microsoft give us. So what we'll do, let's have a look at, we'll go for the employee onboarding. So when we select a template, we're presented with an example of what that list is going to give us. All the columns and some example data that we've got there. We can flick through the different types of lists on the left here, but we're just going to stick with the employee onboarding and let's use this template. Next step is where we're going to save this list to. So we can save it as My Lists, and what that's going to do is actually save it as part of your My Site or basically your OneDrive for Business. Or I can select an existing site or recent site that I've got access to create content in. All right. So in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to choose the Mark8 project team. And we can give it a different name, a color. We can also choose an icon as well, but let's keep everything as default and we will create that nice, quick creation of that list. And we're taken to the new experience. All right. Now, because we chose that Mark8 project team, it's actually going to be created as a list in that SharePoint site. So Microsoft Lists basically is built on top of SharePoint, right? So it is a SharePoint list, just makes it a lot sexier and prettier and easy to use. We bring along some additional information, column formatting, and things like that. So you can see here, we can click the new button. We're still presented with the same form as we would be in a SharePoint site. We've got the fields there. We can fill that out, nice and easy. Now, if I head over to the Mark8 project team, let's just take a look at how that interacts with SharePoint. So we'll jump onto the SharePoint site here, and you can see here on the left-hand side that we've got that employee onboarding list that's been created. We click on it, and there we are with that exactly the same list as we have in the Lists UI there. All right. Now, with this now being generally available, we've also got the option to integrate in with Microsoft Teams. Okay, so let's just jump into Teams and we'll take a quick look at how that works inside Teams. So I'll jump into Teams and we'll use the Mark8 project team in this case, and we'll take a look at what we can do here. So I'll jump into the general channel here and we'll add a new tab. Now, one of the options that we have available to us is this lists tab. So we click the lists tab and we save that, and now we can either create a new list or we can add an existing list to this tab. So let's start by using, we'll add an existing list to start with. And you can see here, that's the one that I've just created. We've got a pre-existing issue tracker list, and we've also got design ideas as well. So I'm going to choose the issues tracker, and let's have a look at what happens here. So you can see here, we've got some nice column formatting. The list is added as a tab to this channel, and we've now brought that list in. Now, this is a little bit different. So the experience here when we create items or edit items or view items inside of Teams is a little bit different as to what we saw before. So when I click on new item here, you can see here that I'm presented with the form, but it's in a different layout. So I've got 4 columns in this case, but I can still fill that out rather than a vertical panel that slides out from the right. We've now got a nicely formatted form here. And let's cancel that off. The other options that we can see here is when I select an item, again, I'm in that format of that form, but you'll notice here that I can also start a new conversation around this item. So when I hit conversation, I can then start to converse or talk to people about this particular item. And given this is an issue, I can then let's just hit up Alex, and that's going to then post that as a conversation. And if we jump back into posts of this channel, you can see here that's become a post of that channel, and then Alex can now converse around that item. When I click on that, it's going to take me directly to that list item there as well. All right, so nice little piece of functionality there around collaborating and talking about individual list items. The other things that we can do here is we can also edit this in what is now called grid view. So if we click on grid view here, and we've now got a nicely formatted view of these items. I can flick between. I can make sure that all these rows are fixed height, or we can just go auto fit as well. And you'll notice when I scroll across this, if I've got a lot of columns that are added to this view, if I scroll across here, you'll see that the first column in this case is issue is stuck there, and everything else falls behind it. So that ensures that if you're used to using SharePoint lists in the past, the whole thing used to slide across. So what we can do now is have that fixed column there, so we know what row we're working on. So same thing we can do here. We can adjust or drag and drop our columns in this, even now in grid view, and I can then exit that grid view, and we're now back into just a normal view. Now, what we're going to do now is there's been a lot of questions around what happens to the pre-existing lists. So if we've got lists that we've created in SharePoint, what happens to those lists if we use Microsoft Lists now as a tab inside our team? So I've got a list here that it has been created not using Microsoft Lists. So I'm going to add another tab here, and let's use an existing tab. And this design ideas one here is actually just a default list that's been added as a custom app inside this group. So you can see here, no column formatting has been applied here. We haven't started from a template, so there is no formatting, but we could apply some formatting if we needed to. But we do get all the same features and functionality that we saw in the previous example. So new item here, we get the new form layout. If we open up an item, we can still have a conversation around that item. So even though that this list has been created by the default SharePoint way, we can still see that we've got the same features and functionality that we have in the other example. And if I edit it in grid view, same thing, I've got the options there as well. So let's just exit that now. So there we have it. Quick walk through Microsoft Lists. The new app in your 365 dashboard, if you click on lists, you'll be able to create your lists either from Microsoft templates or blank lists, or from Excel spreadsheets, or even from pre-existing lists. All right, that's it for this live stream. Just testing things out, as I said, and seeing how all this works. So hopefully that has come through okay. There's been a few people jump in, I've seen come through there. So thanks for jumping in and having a look. If you've got any comments, pop them in the comments and let me know, first of all, what the quality is like and if everything went well. Thanks for watching again, and watch out for more live shows coming your way.